Alright. So, I just left the ATN Enclave here. I'm a little bit tired. On the world map, I'm basically out here in the middle of nowhere. So, here's basically a couple things that are going on with this character right now. That I figure is like sort of important to like note. I actually found out a little bit more about like the skills in like the off time while I was basically off. I found out a couple important things. If you have this metabolism, it actually has this little perk that I sort of missed. But basically, when you take the like slow metabolism or like the fast metabolism, like I've got here, it actually changes your healing rate. If you have like the fast metabolism, it actually makes you heal a little bit faster. As a result of you basically you have a fast metabolism, so like you eat more, you get hungry more, and all that. You thirst more, but you also basically heal faster. So if you get injured a whole lot, then this will help you out a lot. This like metabolism here. I also found out that tracking, or I think trapping here, it has a special ability that basically lets you see like the alertness of like campsites. Normally you don't see the alertness thing here, but if you basically have trapping, it lets you see alertness on like where you sleep. Yeah, these are like all the bruisings I basically got here, but whatever, I'm getting better. I'm getting better! Hooray! Alright, it's evening right now, so let's move here. Move on to this water here. Alright, I figure what I'm going to do right now, I'm actually going to get some water into these jugs here. And before I forget, I'm actually going to take this sling I've got here, I'm actually going to decommission it so I can get like, a new sling made. That's something nice about slings, by the way. You can just like, decommission them and recommission them to get like your stuff back. Though it's worth pointing out, I apparently need to get more rocks for that, so put those there. I'm just gonna go back to like filling up these water balls for now. Water balls, other stuff in here. Alright, I'm going to fill that all up. And of course it's dusk right now, so it's getting, later into the day. So I gotta watch out for, the sun like going down. That might be worth a little bit of money. Let's scavenge for a little bit of supplies here. We'll go to this abandoned office tower first. And I found a newspaper, so who wears short shorts? Spaz Jeanswear is making a fashion return. The jeanswear designer is back with a vengeance, and this time it has a different plan for more exposure, said Tony Bobbert, Spaz CEO. I started thinking about how impersonal an assembly line clothes can be. What could I do to make them more of a personalized expression? Suddenly I realized that it wasn't what I could add, but rather what my customers could cut away. Interesting idea, I guess. Okay, let's put this down here. We'll scavenge a little bit of this stuff around the ATN. Cool, I found another crowbar. And I found a flashlight. I'm apparently carrying a lot here, so that's something to watch out for. It's kind of interesting when you basically don't have like a strong trait, because it means that you basically get like, you're essentially carrying the stuff that's like, got like this weight to it. And it basically weighs you down quite a bit. Some of the stuff that you're basically carrying. This is why I kind of like the strong trait, because it lets you carry a lot more. But whatever. Nothing really to like, worry too much about. Okay, we'll scavenge this up. Doesn't really matter which one I use. Hey, I found a tarp. Put that right there. Put this stuff like right there. Water ball can go right there. Whatever. We'll just put the water in this water ball right here. I found some jelly bears. I can keep those for a little bit of money. Medium likes a string. For now, let's put them right in here. Why not? I'll pick up disposable bags. Put that right there. I'm probably going to sell the disposable bags, but whatever. Let's eat this Blinkies snack, because, you know, everyone loves their Blinkies. Blinkies are good for you. Alright, let's move into the forest here. And I think what we're going to do next, I'm going to use the forest to basically make a little bit of, like, you know, stuff. I'm going to do a little bit of fire crafting here. So I can basically see what I'm doing for a little bit. I need tracking. No, not tracking. Trapping. This is one of the bad things about taking trapping and tracking. I keep, like, mixing them up. Okay, we'll get that going. Let's get this fire right here. I'm going to basically start doing a little bit of, you know, taking the water and turning it into stuff. Put water here, put water here. So confirm. I apparently don't have a whole lot of movement left, so that's been a nuisance, but whatever. Let's use that up. I'm going to basically put this into the water ball here. And it's nighttime, but whatever. You know, let's scavenge the woods just for the hell of it. Structure forest. We'll scavenge it for a little botany and safety. And there's some stuff basically to eat if I need to. Edible berries, poison berries. I'll eat some right now. There we go, we're full again. Alright, well, let's do a little bit more of the water boiling. We'll do that a little bit. There's a whole lot of sterilized water I can basically put into these bottles for a little bit of money. Whoops. Apparently one of these is not sterilized. That's no good to me. Empty that out. There we go. All sterilized water. There's a little bit left to, you know, do stuff here. This is one bad thing about, like, you know, fast metabolism. You get hungry so much in this game that it's just a constant, like, you know, eating frenzy where you're basically eating up stuff. There's my slake first again. Let's, boil the rest of the water, I guess. And I actually could show off something that's very interesting that I've yet to actually, show off really. If you actually have like, a handful of small twigs and bark, you have like, the trapping skill. And if you take like a container of some sort, you can actually like, take like this, like, these containers. Well, you should be able to do this with stuff. Let's see what the recipe is for it. This basically is food or this, this thing here. Okay, it's botany I basically need. If you take botany and like all this stuff here, you can make something called TNT. And this is a very special type of like, medicinal like, ointment, I guess, that you can use on like your wounds. You can also use this for selling if you want to. So I could do this. I could do this. I could do this. And this. There's some TNT, and this is actually worth a little bit of money. So you can like put this into here, and you have like a lot more money for this stuff. Interestingly enough, let's put the TNT into the bottles here. And for the hell of it, I should probably take the water here. If I had more water in that, but whatever. Oh, some of this is sterilized. Well, that's fine. I'm basically just going to take some of the sterilized water and like, the regular water here. We're just going to take it, boil it into some rags. Get some boiled rags here. Much like the, the other place, I can like do that here and have this water ready. Alright, well, I think at this point it's probably a good time to go sleep, so let's just sleep off a little bit here. So yeah, I actually have alertness, which basically lets you know, basically the alertness lets you know how often or how well you're basically going to be able to like, see incoming enemies. So basically like different like, things here will have like, higher different alertnesses. And the more alertness you have, the more chance you have of detecting people coming after you. And healing just dictates how well you're going to heal basically. Alright, something approaches me. That's probably like, one of those ATN guys, so I'm not going to worry about them too much. I'm just going to sleep a little bit more. And I woke up. Yeah, there's a stranger's tracks right there. Not going to worry about that too much. Let's eat these edible berries. Let's eat these edible berries. And the rest of this stuff is poisonous. I'm not sure if you can actually use poisonous stuff to do anything, but it might be interesting to find out in the future, perhaps. Yeah, this is one of these ATN warrior type of guys nearby. Alright, returning to the forest surrounding the ATN. It doesn't take long for Noack warriors to intercept you. However, at this time you are taken to an area nearby where a small group of travelers have assembled. This group is then led through the ATN perimeter fence towards the village. Your guides lead you, probably intentionally, near enough to see a pitfall being excavated and then warn you not to stray. The group stays close, not wanting to wander into the snare, and close to an hour later you began hearing the sounds of the village. Alright, so basically here I can like, sit down for a meal if I want to, but we're going to browse this like, trading post again. Now, note that I think this updates like, very slowly the tribe here. I think it does change over time, but it doesn't change that often. And let's just sell this handfuls of string I've basically got here, some of this stuff. And we're just going to sell. Alright, if I double click, I can basically sell all this stuff easily enough. So we'll get rid of all that stuff. Let's get rid of that plastic bag. That one too. Keep the rest. We'll sell the tarp, we'll sell the flashlight, I'll sell these things, sell that stuff, sell this stuff. Sell this crowbar. I'm making a little bit of money from all this, which is good. Alright, I think now we'll sell off, Still have the string. I don't really care about the string. Just get rid of it. So, I think next on my to-do list, I am going to maybe like boil these rags perhaps a little bit. It's kind of interesting how like you always like, you know, appear down here when you're basically exiting the ATN. But whatever. Alright, what have I got here? I got some rocks I can make use of. We'll put those in here. And we got some pebbles I can put into my sling. If I want to. We'll put them right here for now. And let's just, I'm gonna do this basically to get a few, like, you know, branches and stuff to make use of. Let's go here. Alright, I basically need to, make a fire here. So basically I'm just gonna, you know, do the same old thing right here, just, you know, trapping, sticks, twigs, make a friction fire, burn it brightly. And now it's gonna basically quickly burn all these rags into, like, you know, clean rags, shall we say. I should say. So boom, boom, boom. Put those right here. Boom, boom, boom. And I'll boil the rest of this water so I can drink it for a little slick first. So those will go in my inventory. And this will just get drank. I drank some water. We're good to go. Alright, well, let's do some scavenging. We'll go here first, I guess. There's a deer around. So if I want to hunt that deer, and you know, this is a nice thing about tracking because I can see the deer, it makes it very easy to chase after it if I want to. Let's go here. And we found some stuff here apparently. Let's put this on over the crappy thing I've got here. Clean rags, those are worth keeping. I can sell those for money. Hey, I found some lockpicks. Basic lockpicking tools for, you know, lockpicking with. Sell those. Whoops. I should put this stuff in here first. So I cover that up. Let's put these right here. These are just crude ones, so I'm not going to worry about them so much. Put that right there. Looks like the deer went somewhere. Oh, it's up there in that direction, I guess. Botany, this. Small chunk of meat, spoiled, but whatever. Edible mushrooms. Edible berries. Yeah, botany's pretty fun for, like, you know, doing stuff like that. You can just, like, you know, go around like nuts, basically getting stuff. I could actually try and go after a deer, I think, but let's go in this way. And I'm just going to quickly sell off, more of the stuff I basically have here. So we'll sell off this, and we'll sell off this. Now, this is one of the bad things about, the ATN. Because they, have a limited, supply or, space, they'll get filled up on stuff, and then, you basically can't, be here to basically, sell a bunch of stuff because you don't have a lot of room for it. Unfortunately. But I can sell off a little bit, and that'll be helpful. I might just buy the bow just for the simple fact that it'll free up some room in here, and I can show off bows a little bit. Bows basically work like slings. But you basically load them with arrows and then you fire at them at people. That's basically how they work. Why not? We'll pick up the bow. There's the bow. I'm going to show off the bow. Here's the arrows for it. They get stacked in there. I guess you can only have five arrows at once in a place, so that's basically it. No more. But whatever, we have a bow for combat. Alright, I'm actually thinking I probably don't need to have all these plastic bags with me, but, whatever. By the way, if you want to, I think you can put the bow on, your thing here. But it requires that you have, the crowbar basically is, where I usually put that thing over there, basically. Okay, let's leave this village again. And let's just head off, I guess, toward the Detroit area, I guess. Scavenge here a little bit. Hey, I found something for my other foot here. That goes right there. I now have footwear. A game of drones. To support the growing role of the unmanned air vehicles in the U.S. military, Camp Grayling will be expanding its UAV maintenance and operations facilities. Planned construction includes 3 new hangars, an array of 8 landing pads, and a refueling pipeline, all connected via short-length runways. Facilities for support personnel are also in the works. Local engineering firm Stansted Automated has been contracted to install an optical and radio registration system for automated vehicle guidance. The system will be one of the first of its kind, allowing both ground and aerial-based unmanned vehicles to navigate the facility without human oversight. And then there's spots for dinner, clone meat. And I don't think there's much in here of worth, so we're just going to take this tarp. Maybe I'll take these stones. The string might be useful if I need it, so I'll put it right there. I'm going to take this bottle right here. We'll put on a t-shirt because, I have room for it. So that's a good find. I got another pair of, shoes there. I'll jump on a hill. Let's go do some scavenging right here. What did I find? I found some makeshift sacks here, apparently. They're in poor condition, so I don't think I will be using them, but whatever. Here's another eerie plastic bottle. Now, note, but I like to put these plastic bottles up here with, this, the thing I'm basically using for carrying more stuff from the tribe. Basically, what's nice about it is that I can put, bottles up here, and then, I have, these bottles if I need them for use. In, close proximity to where I need them. I keep finding metal saucepans in poor condition. It's kind of annoying. But whatever. Let's end a turn here. We'll scavenge a little bit. And I found some medium length of string. Hey, I found potato chips. Empty out. Use. And use. It actually hurts your slate first, by the way, eating potato chips, but, you know, it's still worth it. Clean rags might be useful for obvious reasons, so let's move some stuff over here. Put those right there. Hey, there's another melon head over there. Melon heads are basically, they're basically, you know, humanoids. They're like, you know, diminutive. They're not really like, you know, I guess like natural, smart type of like humanoids. They're basically stupid ones. Shack in a forest has what? Woo! I found a tactical boot. That's awesome. Put that on my foot right now. And I guess I have to start thinking about, you know, getting one of these plastic bags out for use. Unfortunately. Barely if I was shiving here. Okay, let's just do this first. I'm going to take out these, like, you know, stuff I'm not using right now. Put you in here. And anything worth taking, like this crowbar, I'm going to take, for sure. I want that pack boot too, so let's ditch the what? I guess we're going to ditch the, you know, the clean rags. We'll ditch the lockpicks, the tarp. Nice thing about boots is that they're like, you know, durable and they last a long time, but they suck to sell if you're trying to sell them because they have like, you know, such a big, you know, frame in your inventory. I should probably head down to Detroit to sell some stuff because, you know, I got stuff to sell. Like this bow I might sell, for example. It's worth knowing, by the way, this bow actually, I think it sells for a little bit more in like Detroit. If you want to do that. You can get a little bit more money doing that if you want to. And apparently it's getting dark, so that's a bit of a nuisance, but whatever. There's some pebbles on the ground here if I want them. Maybe I do. Put those there. We're going down this direction, perhaps. There's another ATM warrior guy over there. They like to patrol around their areas like the DMC guards do. And they're quite good at their job most of the time. Let's put this in here, I guess. It's dusk, so I have to watch out for nighttime falling, but whatever. Some stuff here if I want, but we'll do that later, I think. Let's sleep for a night, I guess. So here's something I know, by the way. If I have like all these different spots, I can like, you know, select different ones. So there's the burn out apartment. That'll provide a little healing, some shelter, some alertness. one of these, like, you know, storage stash things will actually provide good healing as well as good shelter and sleep as well as some alertness. Guess we'll go with that one. Oh, I had trouble falling asleep. That'll happen sometimes. I'm actually well rested, so I'm actually going to have difficulty falling asleep. I woke up. Let's scavenge a little bit because I don't have anything else to do here. Use this crowbar here. And there's some, you know, shirts I basically picked up, some bottles. You know, I should probably just drink this water here if I'm getting thirsty. So do that. I'm just gonna scavenge this place until I, you know, find some stuff, maybe. And I found some pills. Pills are always fun to find. So there's some painkillers. I'll probably put those painkillers somewhere in my inventory. Or, you know, maybe I won't. These are actually not worth a whole lot, these painkillers. Sometimes it's not worth taking stuff, so... You know, I do have this quality lit torch. I should probably make use of it. But I don't have the hands for it, so maybe let's, you know, jettison it and not worry about it. Pick that up. Let's pick up these, pick these up. So much stuff I have in my inventory. Oh, while trying to access the block room, you get stuck. I managed to, like, you know, waste time. So that sucks. Let's sleep a little bit more, I guess, for the hell of it. Cool, I woke up as, you know, time to run away, or move on, I guess. Oh, there's an ATM warrior. So we'll accept the offer to talk. And, how far away am I from Detroit? I'm actually pretty far away. I'm trying to book it here. Whoops, I did move all the way I could there. I can move up to 5, I have to keep that in mind. Oh, I'm getting parched. I'm weak from first. Something to watch out for. You can actually get weak from first. Okay, I want to move in this direction. Go to this marsh here. We're going to actually take some water here. I'm just going to put it into these, like, you know, things here for, you know, future use. Let's jump into the forest here. Use that up a little bit. And that guy might be following me, or he might be a looter, I'm not sure. But for now, let's just, you know, create a fire, because I need to get, like, you know, my stuff boiled so I can drink some water and, you know, recover from thirst. You know, it's sort of a blessing and a curse, you know, high metabolism, which is why I don't really, you know, pick it up. Just because of the simple fact that it's so annoying having to basically keep yourself, you know, topped off, basically, the entire time. Food-wise. Okay, let's get that out of there. We'll get this water in here. Water, 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 water. pan, boil. Boil all that water, and then I can just go in here and we'll start drinking. Drink, 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 drink. A little bit of water for the road. Onto the hill I go. And who's here? Okay, that's a lure for sure. Lures generally run from sight of you if you get close and they'll see you, so that's generally how I can tell if a lure's nearby. And apparently I found another scope in here. There's a multi-tool. Been looking for one of those, I guess. I need them eventually. Put that in here for now. What to take, what to ditch. Maybe I'll ditch this crowbar in favor of these cargo pants here. I can put stuff in those, and then I can maybe put these somewhere. Like so. And wow, no durability on those. Let's put these in here, I guess. I'll put the this in there to go, that to go. Maybe I should have put the flashlight in there. Apparently I have space in here, so I might as well just pick these plastic bags, I guess. Okay, he's not moving, so I'm just going to move around him. Keep going on my way to Detroit. Edible! Yum! Alright, I've actually moved a little bit down too far, so gotta start moving east then. Alright, we're actually getting closer and closer to Detroit, so I've entered the the defensive line, so to speak. And apparently I'm in a place where it's hard to see anything, so we're just gonna scavenge just a little bit. Notice how this has very little loot chance, even with it being a very loot-filled type of area. There's some string on the ground here, but whatever. Hey, I made it here. So there's the last canteen. And let's just jump into the junk mart. So start shopping. Alright, so I've managed to make it this far, which means I can do some stuff. Let's actually sell some of the stuff I don't need in here, I guess. So anything I don't need, I'm just going to jettison. I don't really need this bow, for example. I'll show off, the bows, how they work later on. This is just more or less I more or less took this to make, room, basically, is what I did with it. And I don't really need this yummy soup can anymore, so let's just drop it. Let's actually jettison these clean rags, or just jettison that entirely. Get rid of those. Get rid of the arrows that goes with them. I guess I can keep that for now. Sell these, sell that, sell this. Put those there, I guess. We'll put these rocks in here. I'll put the lighter in there as well. So that flashlight. Let's get rid of these rocks. Now I've got a whole lot of room to carry stuff if I need to. And in here, apparently, he's got some full metal jacket rifle rounds. He's got a riot duffel bag in there. He's actually got an aquapur water purification tablets. So those are actually good for, like, you know, what can I tell you about these? Water purification tablets are these special types of pills that you can actually use to basically, like, go to water and, like, you know, turn that water into, like, you know, sanitized water or sterilized water. So they're really interesting type of pills. Laptop battery in here, apparently. Cool. And a cheap memory stick and our stuff. Alright, well, I figure at this point, I see some, you know, a small chunk of meat. I see this cured meat. Let's actually take this out, and I'll eat it. Just for the hell of it, because, you know, I have access to it. And I'm actually going to probably regret possibly doing this. We're going to take out one of these cure meats, and I'll eat it as well. Just to get my, you know, thing up here a little bit. Huh. These are actually better than my current cargo pants. These are even better, though. Sort of. Kind of. Okay, let's do some stuff here, I guess. We're going to put this right here for now. And he's got, like, you know, he's like 100% stuff in here, so anything that's 100%, I'm actually more interested in taking, so let's fix this. I'll put on the Cornucola t-shirt. Put that on. Put this on. Put that stuff in it. And let's actually take this. I'm actually going to, you know, just put this stuff in here for now. Ditch that. And why not? We're actually going to put these cargo shorts on. I don't usually put cargo shorts on because they actually make it so, you know, you basically, like, cool down faster. But because I got this Dogman fur coat, I don't really have to worry about it, so I'm not going to worry about it. You know, let's just put this in here. Save me from having to move a whole lot of stuff around. And I gotta remember I got this water here, so let's drink this. And there's some string and our stuff here, which is cool. Alright, let's go here. Rent a spot. Now I can camp here in, like, you know, the campsite. So I'll get some good healing here, get a little bit of shelter, some alertness. And I'll basically sleep the night away, so to speak. Well, let's look around, I guess. Now, note that, you know, basically on this part of the map down here, sometimes you'll basically have, like, you know, water and other stuff spawning nearby. But not all the time. There's a swamp. Yeah, I'm getting thirsty right now, so I have to find some, you know, close water sources. Here we go. Use. And put this stuff in here. Alright, that's all in here. Let's move right here into the forest. And now I can just do a little bit of, like, you know, quick crafting to get my water back up. So communal trash bin, water, 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 and this. I don't have any moves apparently to do that, so one moment. And turn. Offer to talk. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about other stuff from this guy. So, how do I get into DMC? Are there any nearby cities? What's the story of the swamp? Let's talk about nearby cities. Are there any other cities nearby? His head is shaking before you finish. No, no. Closest thing you got is Fort Wayne, down below the swamp. Gotta get there by air, though. Is it like the DMC? Nah, not like this. Never been there myself, though. Okay, we'll leave. Okay, thanks. The guard wastes no time in moving on to other things. Alright, well, let's do some crafting, get my water, because I need to select this first. I forgot to do that yet again, but whatever. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, let's get some sterilized water. That's all sterilized, so we can, drink it. And for those who don't know, this guy makes his games in RPG Maker, Boss Galga. There we go. We'll put that there. Put that right there. And you know what? Let's do something, crafty. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna put some, more water into these things right here. Gonna jump into this forest here, and let's reveal ourselves and say hi. Okay, let's use the forest here. Now, if you have botany, something you can do that's really, really nice is that you can actually take these small twigs and branches. And you can actually make a lot of TNT with it. So craft your, TNT basically. So botany, trash bin. You can take some of this water I've got here. Take the twigs. And I basically need to have these bottles to basically put them in, so. Okay, what am I missing? For TNT again. Okay, I need botany. I need fireproof, waterproof container. Oh, it needs to be fireproof. These aren't fireproof, these containers. So I need to have, say, this. There, I can make some TNT. So TNT, 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 TNT. Make it all TNT, basically. TNT, TNT. So yeah, I can put TNT into these things here. Now raise the value of this stuff by a lot for, use. Well, let's put that right there for now. I'm not going to do it too much. And we'll take this, Alright, this is all sterilized water, so let's put that right there then. Put this here, put that there, put the botany here. And the twigs. Alright, there we go. TNT galore. There we go. Sell that to a junk market. All this stuff here. Get a little bit of extra money. Apparently there's a good pack boot here I can place my shoe with, so I'll put this on. We'll do that. And we got some pistol rounds, we got some full metal jacket rounds in here. Let's grab this stuff. There's a sack in there if I want to make use of it, if I want to. And there's some prescription painkillers. An eye slab. And some crew piercing arrows. Yes, you can actually buy arrows in the junk market if you need to. Okay, let's put that there. You know what? Let's buy a sack, perhaps. Maybe. No. Let's actually not buy the sack. I can probably do without the sack and, do with, like, these things if I find anything really valuable. That'll actually help me, like, offset, like, carrying too much, because I cannot manage my weight a lot easier with, like, these, like, plastic bags. Alright, I think I'm actually getting to the point where it might be worth it to, stop playing. I ate all this stuff in here for the hell of it, but whatever. I think next time we'll probably just, like, hang out around the DMC area for a little bit, get a little bit more money. And then, like, I'll probably head off to, like, try and find some guns or something, scavenging-wise. That'll be the plan. For now, take care.